I was quite excited when Atari announced its Recharge series back in 2022 and was quite keen and eager to get underneath them. But when I first played Centipede Recharged, I really didn't get on with it well at all. And so it bounced me off the series. I've picked them up mostly now that they've been on 33 and 50% off. And I have to say, Breakout Recharged has put some faith back into the project for me again, because this feels and plays much better. Breakout is one of the original Brick Breaker games. It's coming up for its 50th year anniversary not too long in the future, I think 2026. And so it's one of those games that's really difficult to kind of overemphasize how simplistic but full of pure gameplay this is. You literally are just moving a bat around on the bottom of the screen, bashing the ball back up and smashing the bricks. That is all that there is to the game, and some people might kind of tusk it and brush it aside because the gameplay hasn't really evolved too much since then, but Recharged adds in quite a few interconnectivity, extras, a few different modes, and what I love with this is that everything is tied to a leaderboard. So when the leaderboards work, which is highly debatable whether they do or not, the game feels like you really are playing up against a high score leaderboard of other people in an arcade, which takes me back to my 80s and 90s childhood. The first thing I recommend you doing in Breakout Recharged is to play the arcade mode with all the power-ups turned off, because you need to get used to the way how this game controls. There's a nuance here that takes a while to get used to, and I think it's because the game's trying to evoke the original controls where you would twist a knob left and right, almost like a bar pit, but where you're twisting it. And the idea is that the analog stick tries to do that on the PS5 version that I've been playing. I would imagine this works way better with a mouse, if I'm perfectly honest, on PC, but it's almost like the bat is too fast for its own good and therefore lacks precision, and that means that it's quite difficult to get really nuanced hits with the ball to get the exact trajectory that you need, because you're constantly having to move at rapid speed, and that's quite difficult to pull off. However, when you get used to that, that allows you to then start to really take advantage of the power-ups, because some you'll want to dive for, some you won't, and it takes a while to get used to what's a good thing to quickly jink out of the way and collect and what not to, because you've then got used to the bat's idiosyncrasies. So the power-ups include the traditional old multi-ball, but you've got rail guns, homing missiles, explosive balls, the ability to make your pad much wider, which can be actually a curse as much of a blessing, particularly when you start to get guns firing at you from above. And so you just need to kind of get used to all of that as you go along. All of these modes are available in co-op as well as single player, but they all tie to an online leaderboard, which I found really helps you feel like you're chasing other scores. And when you see I'm only 70th on the leaderboard, and I'm like, right, the next one's only a few bits up, and it does hit that replayability mark quite easily. The other thing that's really quite meaty in this game is that it comes with 50 challenge levels, and each one is designed to be replayed in almost identical fashion, if not identical fashion, but they have specific goals that you need to achieve. So it might be things like clear 100 bricks using only the railgun, and so you've got to keep the ball in check whilst collecting the railgun and then hitting all of the bricks, because anything else you do and kill with anything else doesn't contribute to the score. Instead of these being scored though, quite often these leaderboards are time based, and so it's all about that quick precision, making good decisions and bouncing off of your reflexes, basically. And I found the challenge modes, or the challenge levels, to actually be where I spent most of my time. And I wasn't really expecting that when I was playing the game. I thought I'd be really committed to the very traditional version of Breakout. But no, those challenge levels really let me explore different ways of trying out the different power-ups, the multi-balls, all of that kind of stuff, so that I could have fun. Again, all of those come with their own leaderboard too, which whilst it was a little bit finicky in trying to get it to work, when it did push me forward to go, just one more go, just one more go. And that's really all I wanted from Breakout Recharged. Also a shout out to Megan McDuffie, who does a great little Synthwave soundtrack in the background. And it just comes together to be a much better, fully rounded package compared to what I initially had with Centipede Recharged, which was what really pushed me away from this series. So yeah, pleasantly surprised. I'll be reviewing the Recharged series across 2024, and hopefully there'll be some other little hidden gems to pick up too. Take care. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.